Thank you very much, Barty. This is really exciting work and really original and wonderful to hear it. I've got a couple of related questions. The first is about the extent to which these influencers work across different platforms. So, is their influence on YouTube also linked to working on other forms of social media, like TikTok, having an Instagram profile, using Facebook, having small networks within WhatsApp? And if so, what are the main complementary platforms that allow people to get influence on YouTube, and how do those interactions work? And the second area I just wondered if you could elaborate a bit on was the digital economy dimension of it, in terms of what the viable career trajectories are. So, do many of the influencers aspire to go on to radio, on television, or do they see expanding their influence on YouTube as the pathway to making a living from this?
Thank you so much, Alexander, for that. I think the only thing that people do, like I'm mostly in some of the WhatsApp group of the community. So what you basically do, you just see links flowing on the WhatsApp group. This is how you look, I'm doing this kind of link. This is the link. They also share this thing on their Facebook pages. So Facebook are very limited in the Congolese community because I don't know why, but some of them are still missing TikTok. Remember, this is the thing that have just started since 2020. It is now becoming familiar, but some refugees are really trying to expand it, the X and that. They go to about YouTube. They also have Facebook account. They also have even Instagram, by the way. I'm seeing a lot of people are growing Instagram, and they will make sure they put the link to their information to every social media working in the community to make sure that they get a lot as many views as possible. I also came to realize that because by showing the talent, we start developing some people. Let me give you an example of a guy called Nkwego. Nkwego is a professional comedian who is now getting about 25,000 subscribers on his channels. And he has become, by the way, even a superstar that's even being recruited by Kenya to come and play some of their videos. And this kind of Nkwego started during COVID-19 by just posting some funny things, because he was like, why will I tell people in this time in the houses they are going, then he made some joke with what is happening. Then he said it to one person said it to another person, another said it to another person, it circulated all over. Then people were like, can you do another one? He did another one, and it's circulated. Now he has become a superstar of the community. So I think social media platform work with each other. You never have only one. One works with another one. So basically, that's the thing that we use. So about going, I've been seeing this is what happens. If I have a channel, I will basically go to I will go to another channel to talk about my channel. And then that person also go to my channel and talk about his channel, vice versa, so that at least people gain as many audience as possible. So they take that guy called Kanyakudu has got a big channel, but he cannot talk about himself. It's like on his own channel, because already have his audience on his channel. So he just live with other channels to continue helping other, boosting their views and say, look, I'm in this channel, kindly support me, but also go to my channel also and support me. Then they invite that person also to go to his channel, so it's vice versa. That's a way of supporting it. I like the fact that even refugees at general time is up. Thank you. I love the fact that refugee. They asked me some question last week, but one, and this was the question. They say, we wish UNHCR could invest more in this if they're not able to face the government into forcing the government to give us work permit to go out there. But we can still working because we are safe in our house. We are making money from our house. But the issue maybe is we need our money directly from us, not anyone to take money from us. And I think this is the challenge that we need to address. Any question? Yes, thanks, sir.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for the great presentation. Yeah, I have two questions. I think one is kind of related to what the first question Alex asked. And this is, I understand the context and the uniqueness of each communities, and specifically here focused on biology. But I also understand that we are now in a globalized kind of social world. So the impact of this spread over to other communities and other platforms. And so I don't know whether you look at how this has influenced other communities within Nairobi, Kenya, and elsewhere. I think that is an aspect that that is very important to look at in terms of social networking. And then the second one was in terms of communication, do you see these initiatives as being kind of a platform to influence policies, to influence how organizations supporting refugees act and behave, and even government officials and institutions?
Thank you so much. And something the last one. There's this motto. Okay, sorry, I'm not advocating for African Refugee Network, but we have this motto that says, anything good to do without refugees against the refugees. Are you listening to that? Anything good for refugees without refugees is against them. Why are you planning anything good you want to involve in? So we've been having an issue in the community where organizations we can't go with projects. And they just when it fails, then they go back to the drawing board, they design another way they finish, and then it fails, then they go back, then design another one, then it fails, and then I was asking, why can't you tell these people to do what they want? And it's simple. So I think the better way, because they cannot be given a voice now, some organizations are watching their youth to say, okay, we can see now refugees are doing this because this is what they like. So I think nowadays the refugees are raising their voices because sometimes people don't even time to raise your voice. Okay, you should not give a microphone, you can make your own microphone. Is that right? So refugees have now have their personalities. I've seen organization send them links to some of the things that are happening in the community. So by using the thing that refugees are doing, it's really making. You could talk about also the other communities. I think that is a very good thing that we need to capture. We were able also to interview some other communities coming from the Kawangware and the Rongai and even Gong town, and we are yet to analyze those information together. Like I told you, the work is in progress, and this is something we are going to start to make sure it's inclusive. And remember nowadays, apart from refugees who are speaking their mother tongue using YouTube, they are also have those who are now opening channels which are English channels and even Swahili channels to make sure that even the local understand what is that happening. So I think as time goes by, things will come. When a child is born, you just get to go. It's just one step after another. It's not something like that. But I believe that in the 10 or 5 to 10 years to come, the refugees are going to be all over social media. And this will make sure people even realize that, wow, some people don't even know. Last time we organized an African refugee peace marathon to Hulu, and then someone was like, even a refugee can run. Some people have this perspective of thinking that the refugee, there's a way that they walk, there's a way that they eat, there's a way that they speak that is a bit different. But I think this is when they are doing things on YouTube and they are being watched by so many people, but that now starting changing their narrative on how they pursue refugee. I think that is very important. Yes. So I'll keep moving. So I need to I don't want to be carried away by.
No. I wanted to share a commenting question from the chat online.
Thank you.
Mine is just to connect what Bart has said. The question my colleague asked Simo how these YouTube influencers are just maybe even attracting the government officials. The recent activity that happened here in Nairobi, you heard of peace talks between the government of Congo and the rebel groups in Eastern Congo. It was really so surprisingly to see some of these channels that we're talking about owned by refugees interrogating, conducting interviews between rebel and not rebel as such, maybe people fighting in Eastern Congo. Some of them say they are fighting like defending ourselves. They don't accept they are rebels. Others say we're just fighting for our survival. Surprisingly, also to see some generals who are just a part of the talks, generals from Uganda, being on these YouTube channels owned by refugees asking them, how you, like generals from neighboring countries, what do you think can bring peace in Eastern Congo? So at least the whole of East Africa can be a kind of stable and then promote like development. There's this a very strong force behind social media that everyone is just fearing. Even the government officials, even those who pretend to be rebels, they fear once maybe whatever they're doing is exposed. No one wants to be like seen as immoral or as bad. They protect themselves. So I agree really YouTube and other social media platforms provide a very strong platform for refugees to express themselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There's a question online, maybe if you want to read for us.
Yeah, sure. So, a question coming from Julia Orodi in South Africa. She says, thank you for asking for such an interesting research topic. It's amazing how social media influencers can support the refugee community. My question is on accessibility, including data charges. How are communities able to access the information from YouTube? Are there any other channels that are cheaper? And Marie went ahead and responded to say, thanks Julie for the question. I think it's not to mention people who share their phones and connection to watch these YouTube channels, that access is an issue for many refugees. So I wonder if you're able to expand maybe on some of those access issues as well, both from the audience side of things and the production side.
Yes, yeah, we all know that accessibility is not only an issue on refugees, it's an African issue if you look at the African YouTubers, you look at their views and compare to the occidental countries, there's a difference between the access to internet in Africa. And for refugees, of course, it's even worse. But still, there's a significant because people are, the world is growing every single day, and being in Nairobi, I don't see how you can escape being involved in what is happening on social media. So I think accessibility is basically an issue because a lot of people are not don't have access to internet. Some of them don't have access to Facebook. But there's some interesting things that refugees have been doing that have been catching my attention. You will go in the community and find a group of people. I missed that photo we have shown it to you. A group of people, 5 or 10, they are sitting together using one person's phone to watch a song or to watch a comedy. Just like when you go to some of the other countries, you see people gathering around a radio, trying to listen to someone who has got a radio, and maybe there is some news happening in the community. So I believe that this is how refugees have been doing it. But as days goes by, they are starting now also getting some community-based organizations who have got internet on their facilities, like in Kawangwale, we have got like Africana, and even in Kasani, we have like Kisugi, where refugees do come and use their Wi-Fi on their facilities to be able to access information. Because nowadays, even in Weneshara has made it possible. If you want to go to Weneshara, when you have to need to call. If you need to write to them to their email, so many refugees are being forced into technology. And there's no skip zone. If you have a case with American embassy, if you're following up, there's no way you will go to American embassy. You need to go to look for an email and write to them and book an appointment for them to invite you. So I think this is something that we cannot going to avoid at any cost. And of course, it's hard and it's not reaching out to everybody. But as time goes by, people are investing in it, and Yeah, some are doing good. I don't think some answer it very good. Maybe someone want to. Yes, someone here.
A question.
Yes.
I'd like to know if you can share some of these channels so that you can share with myself.
Yes, thank you. I will do that. I'll give on the I'll put on the group and even and then can you also put on the link so that people follow this great refugees and hear what they're doing. They're doing amazing work. Yes, sir.
I heard Alexander mentioning about the digital economy.
Yes.
So we were talking about how people are earning online. So I don't know whether there's anyone else here anything to do with monetizing maybe their YouTube account or their Facebook, like how you can also earn through posting content on those social media platforms. Whether that's something you thought about or
Okay, we doing our research, of course, we were receiving some challenges from the refugee about what they're facing. This is like, like I told you, like they don't access their money directly. It's just like M-Pesa, like starting with myself and even with my other colleague, we found that I cannot open my M-Pesa with my ID, but I need to get a friend, a Kenyan friend who will use his ID to open. So which means, of course, I will still need to pay some, how to call this? Because if someone has helped you, let's say someone has to get money from me, of course, I give them a to the bank. Of course, I won't go with the whole money. I'll make sure I get some small things to compensate for his time and what he did. So I think these are the really start are there in the community. And, I don't know how I'm going to address them. I believe that with the research that the AL team is conducting with young people, looking highlighting this to the world and maybe the influencers in various sectors of government are going to make sure refugee access. I'm happy that the Refugee Act 2019, sorry, is giving refugee the right to use their ID to open their bank account and M-Pesa. But personally, I know that what is written on books is implementation is also another war that people need to battle. So I believe that maybe people who are advocating for refugee rights all over the world will be able to address this thing and even see what will happen. We will continue updating you once maybe the research is fully out. We will be able to talk to you guys and tell you what happened. Thank you. Yes, sir. It's you. Yes. Where's the mic?
Thank you, Mike, for very informative talk that you've given us. And just one comment on this. It is an obvious challenge that since there is no access to bank accounts, it's very hard for refugees to monetize their own content and pay from it. I want you to maybe draw your attention to Eritrean refugees in Uganda and how they're using YouTube to create a small film industry that is watched by refugees, Eritrean refugees all over the world. How they have solved the issue of monetization is they would go into partnerships with other refugees, like you mentioned, in the diaspora. And what they would do is these partnerships, they're not only opening bank accounts for them, since they have much more access to capital and equipment, they would enter into agreements where they would fund the necessary equipment for better better equipment, better means to disseminate the videos and better content. So like creating relationships and partnerships with other refugees that are that have
to make sure that refugees do earn from their content, and to have a wider appeal with other refugees. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that, and maybe it can inform your research to look at that case study and see what kind of things they're doing and what can be adopted by refugees in Congo to better inform and better utilize these platforms. I just wanted to thank you for the informative talk that you've given. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, Anthony, do you have a question online?
Yeah, maybe to add one question as you respond to things.
Yeah, thank you. Your comment is very important. We're going to note this, and I believe that Marie will love to hear that. And even as we continue to extend our research into other people, we can also try to also capture that and even see what other communities are doing better, so that we inform the others to make sure that people are not missing something maybe which is also there, and maybe because of lack of the. I think someone was just telling me that refugees should be a country, and of people because sometimes people split refugees, Somali refugee, Eritrea refugee, Congolese. But I think they should be refugee, and then they just work into one coalition and of refugees. Yeah, I think that is something important that Marie is going to love to hear, and we can see how we can drag our attention into finding more about that. Thank you, Anthony. You can go on.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So just before we wrap up, we're going to take a quick tea break before Alex gives a presentation in about 20 minutes' time.
Yes.
I wanted to get in a final question from online from Phony Joyce. She says, do you have insights on how refugee women and girls engage with social media? To which Marie responds, yes, we do. The majority of these YouTube channels are led by men, and women are a minority. However, we did make sure to include a few of them, and they do amazing work. Sometimes you have YouTube channels that can be led by young couples. But I guess wondering, what is the prevalence of the women that are on YouTube and other social media channels? Do they engage in a different way? Do they use different topics to sort of captivate the audience? Any comments there would be very appreciated. And thank you so much for a great presentation.
Yes, this for your information. A lot of refugees, thank you, Marie, for reminding me that, but I think a lot of refugees, especially those who are coming from Great Lake, are coming from the very low places, and coming from the village like where I come from, it's like, how will I explain this? It's like coming from Kibera and someone will put in New York. If you know Kibera, you understand? So it's like, it's totally a heaven and earth. It's completely different. So, and women in our communities, in most African communities, especially outside town, it's taboo to see a woman on a forefront, especially being a YouTube influencer, because people don't want to listen to them. So like in my culture, and even in Banyamulenge, they consider it to be a taboo, or to be like, which kind of woman is this? Which kind of girl is this? Who is just speaking there? You see, men are supposed to be speaking, not this is African contexts. I am sure some of you understand. It's like even this works also in Somali community. So we've been having, of course, there's few YouTube influencers in especially Congolese community, but some of there are few. If I say few, meaning they are there, but not, of course, we cannot compare them with the number of women who are there. And those who are even forcing it hard to continue moving, they're becoming even more familiar and even more loved by the community, because remember, we want to see women on YouTube, right? Don't you want to see women speaking? Yeah. Thank you so much. I think so. Before by my last remarks, I want to thank you so much, especially. I want to thank the Oxford team, and I want to thank Marie for trusting me to do this work for her, and even the Oxford team has been really very instrumental. I've been able I was introduced to research work with Nao Omata in 2019 when we were doing refugee economies in Kasarani, and then this is what I learned about them, and I want people to know these people are extremely great human being. I'm sure I'm not speaking it because Alexander is here and the other colleagues from Oxford. But I'm saying this because I know everyone who will hear this, they can mark it somewhere. They know what I'm talking about. These things of trusting, making people believe in themselves. Like when I was working with Now is a high personality, he's a professor at Oxford University. When I was working with her, I was like, hey, how will I go on and do? But the thing of trusting you and giving you, showing you that yes, you can. I remember Anthony, I just saw him on Monday. After we've been in touch for the last 4 to 3 years. And Alexander, we've been always meeting in different conferences when he was a moderator. And then today we're just meeting here. They're just simple person, people we can catch up with, we can talk with. I think this is what refugee needs. They need to be treated as any other person. We don't need to be people to sympathize with us. We need people to just consider us as any other person. So I think this is what I've learned from people, the Oxford team. I know where they learned this from. Maybe they will tell us when they get here. But I think the fact that they are open-minded and like socializing and trusting people and work with people. Because sometimes I've been asking people from organization, which I don't want to mention here, I say, when you advocate for people, you don't even value yourself. I think there's an issue with you, because you cannot just go there and say, look, we advocate for refugee, but when you see the way you treat them, because people whom you are telling to respect refugees, they are looking at you. You who are saying that, we can see how children are crying from your gate. I have a friend of mine, I'm sorry to share these things. It really touched my heart, and I want you to listen to this. This was a very close friend of mine. He was an LGBTIQ person. He was living in Kasarani. During COVID-19, he only needed someone to talk to, because NGO had closed their offices. You could not go to any office. So he went to UNHCR office, and then he was crying out, trying to talk to someone, but of course no one was willing to give him his attention. Then he said, I will kill myself. Everyone was like, you see, in Africa, when someone says they're going to kill themselves, someone will say, okay, can we help you? because it seems like it's funny. How will you kill yourself? And then he made it, people found it funny. Then he just climbed the tree. He just put everything, and then people were just like, yes, do it. And then he hanged himself, and then he died. What he lacked was this. I think sometimes people don't need to be given things. People need to be shown that they matter to people need to be shown that they're loved. Someone is thinking about them. I think a simple word of wisdom would have saved that guy's life. But now he's gone, and he was only 25 years old. You understand? So I think the world that you are living in requires a little, just word of wisdom, and it doesn't require a lot of things. So I think what Oxford is doing is you are creating a lot of people, people who are standing now in the community, who are able to influence others. Because last time, let me tell you what I did, and this is my last word. I won't say another thing. Andon is looking at me. I was privileged enough to be given an opportunity to give a lecture at Oxford University student. That was my first. Yes, you can clap for me, guys. So if you look at where I came from the Kasarani, and now lecturing student at Oxford University, wow, that is too much to bear. So that gives me a lot of confidence, and trust me, it's driving me to where I'm heading, and I believe that in the day to come, we will even be able to share our story and even talk in some other big platforms. So thank you so much, Oxford team, and what you are doing to the community, especially the refugee community, is awesome.